Hi. On the 7th of November 2023, the Graduate Management Admission Council launched the GMAT Focus Edition, a revamped version of the GMAT designed to test the skills required in today's dynamic business environment. In this video, I'm going to discuss the changes that have been made to the GMAT with the launching of the GMAT Focus Edition. So without further ado, let's get started. First, let's begin by discussing the changes that have been made to the pattern of the examination. Now, in the older GMAT, there used to be 4 sections: verbal, quant, integrated reasoning, and analytical writing assessment or essay writing. In the new GMAT Focus, there are only 3 sections: verbal, quant, and a brand new data insights section. As a result, the total duration of this exam has reduced from 3 hours and 7 minutes to 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's almost a 28% reduction in the total duration of the test. If we look at the duration of each section, quant used to be 62 minutes long, verbal 65, and IR and AWA 30 minutes each. However, in the brand new GMAT Focus, each of the 3 sections is just 45 minutes long. So clearly, the test is much shorter than it used to be before. Moving on, the number of questions has gone down from a total of 80 to a total of 64. In the older version of the exam, there used to be 31 questions in quant. In the GMAT Focus, there are only 21. Verbal used to have 36 questions, now there are only 23. Integrated reasoning had 12 questions and AWA had 1 essay writing assignment. These have been replaced by a brand new data insights section with 20 questions only. This means that there has been almost a 20% reduction in the total number of questions. Clearly, the new GMAT Focus Edition is a shorter and leaner version of the older GMAT. Last but not least, if you're discussing the pattern, it's also important to touch upon the order of the sections. In the older version of the exam, we had 3 specific orders. On the new GMAT Focus Edition, you could use any of the 6 possible combinations. Now that we've understood the changes that have been made to the exam pattern, let's take a closer look at the brand new Data Insights section. Now, in many ways, the new DI section is a beefed up version of the old IR section. However, it is important to make note of a few salient differences. First of all, the older IR section was a completely independent section. Your performance on the IR section did not affect your overall 800 score. However, that's not the case with the brand new DI section. Your performance in this section directly contributes to your 805 score. Then, the number of questions has gone up from 12 to 20. Even the duration has increased by 50% from 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Then, the question types also have undergone a change. Now, the older IR section had 4 principal question types: multi-source reasoning, 2-part analysis, graphics interpretation, and table analysis. Now, each of these 4 have been retained in the brand new DI section with the inclusion of the data sufficiency question type. That's right, data sufficiency earlier used to be part of the quant section. It has now been migrated over to the DI section. So, the brand new DI section is designed to test your data literacy and data analysis skills through questions that are an intelligent mix of critical reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and data crunching skills. Moving on, even the quantitative and verbal reasoning sections have undergone significant changes. For instance, in verbal, we no longer are tested on sentence correction. The exam concentrates on comprehension and critical thinking skills. On the quant side of things, we see that geometry is no longer tested. We just have arithmetic and algebra. In terms of the types of questions in quant, earlier there used to be 2 types: problem solving and data sufficiency. But as you already know, with the data sufficiency type questions being migrated to the data insights section, quant now only consists of problem solving questions. Now that we've understood the pattern and the sectional breakup of the examination, let's draw our attention to the brand new scoring pattern of the GMAT Focus Edition. The old GMAT was scored on a scale of minimum 200 to maximum 800 with increments of 10 points each. The IR section was scored from a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 8 at 1-point increments. Lastly, the AWA or analytical writing assessment was scored on a scale of 0 to 6, 0 being the minimum, 6 being the maximum, in increments of 0.5. The new GMAT Focus Edition, however, is scored on a scale of 205 minimum to 805 maximum, in increments of 10 points each. This means that all old GMAT scores ended in 0, whereas all new GMAT Focus scores end in the digit 5. With old GMAT scores being valid for 5 years and the new GMAT Focus Edition scores being available from the 7th of November 2023, there is bound to be a period of overlap of applicability of these 2 different scores. Hence, the difference between the 800 and 805 score ranges serves to help admission committees and students alike in differentiating between an old GMAT score and a GMAT Focus Edition score. Moving forward, if you look at the score ranges of the sections that constitute your 800 or 805 scores, you will see that in the older version of the exam, quant and verbal were scored on a scale of a minimum of 6 to a maximum of 51 with 1 point increments. That means there were 46 levels, scoring levels within each section. However, in the brand new GMAT Focus Edition, the number of scoring levels has been reduced to 31 from a minimum of 60 to a maximum of 90 on each of the sections. So, with so many changes having been made to the GMAT exam, a common question on the minds of students and admission committees of B schools across the world is, how do we compare the old GMAT score with the new GMAT Focus Edition scores? Well, the answer lies in the score concordance table provided by GMAC. Let's take a look. If you wish to access the score concordance table, simply go to your browser and type GMAT score concordance table, hit enter, and the very first link you will see is by GMAC, score concordance table by percentile ranking. Click on this and you will be redirected to this score concordance table by percentile ranking. Let's dive into this very quickly. The very first column in green indicates the percentile ranking. The second column in yellow indicates the 805 GMAT Focus Edition score. And the third column in blue represents the 800 old GMAT score range. So, as you can see, an 800 on the old GMAT corresponds to the 100th percentile, which is equivalent to an 805 on the GMAT Focus Edition. You could use this table to check the corresponding GMAT Focus Edition score from an 800 score all the way down to a 200 score. Now, let's say you're someone who's applying to a prestigious B school and you want to know what the GMAT Focus equivalent of the median score, GMAT score at that particular B school is. Well, simple, use this table. Let's say, for example, the median score at this particular target B school is 720 on the older GMAT. Simply scroll down to the rows in this table that indicate the 720 score. Now, as you can see here, we have two rows that tell us the percentile values of a 720 score. The minimum or the lower value is 93.2 percentile and the higher value is the 94th percentile. The corresponding GMAT Focus scores for these two values of a 720 are a 665 and a 675 respectively. This is how the GMAC ensures that there is absolutely no confusion among the B School Admissions Committee in terms of evaluating a student's caliber by looking at two different score values, one of the older GMAT and one of the GMAT Focus Edition. With that, let's move to the next exciting change in the GMAT, and that is the review and edit feature on the new GMAT Focus Edition. The older GMAT did not have the option of even going back and reviewing a question, let alone changing an answer once submitted. However, this has now become a thing of the past. On the GMAT Focus Edition, you can now go back and review as many questions as you like and even make up to 3 edits. That's right, you can change your answers for up to 3 questions that you have already attempted if you can manage to do so before you run out of time. Now, it is important to mention that the addition of this new feature does not change the adaptive nature of the GMAT examination. So, the GMAC has found a way to allow students this flexibility while maintaining the adaptive nature, the computer adaptive nature of the GMAT exam. Finally, the last and crucial difference between the two versions of the test is the official score report. Now, on the older GMAT, you would be provided with an overall score and your sectional percentiles right at the end of the exam. However, if you wished to access a detailed analysis of your performance down to the subsection level, you would have to purchase the enhanced score report at an additional cost of $30. However, this is now a thing of the past. In the new GMAT Focus Edition, you will be provided with an official score report automatically at the end of your examination and at no extra cost. That's right, the cost is included in your GMAT test fee. Not only that, the new official score report is arguably more advanced than the erstwhile enhanced score report. For instance, just like the older enhanced score report, the new official score report provides us with our performance by content domain, performance by question type, and even performance by fundamental skill. But in addition to that, we now see time management data given to us at a far more detailed level. Earlier, we used to get our timing information at the quarter-to-quarter level within each section. However, now we have that same data question by question. Moreover, we now have information about our reviews and edit history as well. This obviously does not apply to the older version of the exam because we did not have that option to review and edit questions. Now you will get to see how much time you spent on reviewing and editing questions, which questions you edited, and whether your edit resulted in converting an incorrect question to a correct question or vice versa. Let's take a look at a sample ESR to understand this firsthand. So here is the official score report of one of our students, Sankha, who scored an incredible 715 or the 99th percentile on the GMAT Focus Edition. At the section level, you can see he has a perfect Q90. He has a V86, which is the 98th percentile, and a D81, which is the 90th percentile in the Data Insights section. Now, if we look at his performance in one of the subsections, let's say Data Insights, you will see his performance by content domain, his performance by question type, and his time management and performance chart. Now this is the chart I was talking about. Now as you can see here, there were 20 questions in the Data Insights section, right? And you can see how much time he devoted to every single question in this section. The red circles indicate the questions that he got wrong, and the green ones obviously are the ones that he got right. So this gives us a fair understanding of how the section progressed for this particular student, how he rolled with the punches, when was he in control of the section, when did he fall behind the clock. All of this paints a very vivid picture of what transpired during the Data Insights section for Sankha. Now, if you scroll down further, you're going to see the question review and edit summary. As you can see, he did not make a single edit even though he reviewed one question. Now, there's another important piece of information to discuss with respect to your official score report. With respect to the 5 schools that you are allowed to send your official score report to for free within the GMAT test fee that you have paid, you had to select these 5 schools before starting your exam in the older version. However, now you have the option of selecting those schools after you have written the test within up to 48 hours of taking the test. So now you will have more flexibility in terms of selecting the right schools to apply to with the GMAT score that you acquire. So there you have it. These were the changes on the GMAT Focus Edition. So now that you understand what the GMAT Focus is all about, how do you prepare for this exam? What changes in terms of preparation? Well, that's where the good news is. In terms of preparation, everything stays the same. You start by writing a diagnostic mock in order to calculate your starting abilities down to the subsectional level and also to get acquainted with the GMAT exam, its question types and dynamics. If you wish to write a diagnostic mock, you could write our very first Sigma X mock available absolutely for free on our website, or you could write any one of the 2 official practice mocks available on mba.com for free. Once you have your starting abilities, you are now ready to proceed to step 2, which is to create a study plan. Now, in order to create a study plan, you will need not only your starting abilities, but also a target GMAT score and a fair idea of the amount of time you can put into your preparation on a weekly basis. If you combine these 3 elements, you will be able to come up with a fair estimate of your total prep duration and your tentative GMAT date. Not only that, a study plan is also supposed to list out your sequence of prep, what you're supposed to do on a day-to-day basis all the way up to your examination. So make sure you rely on a trustworthy mentor or planning tool to come up with that detailed study plan. Now, here at eGMAT, we offer you a solution known as our personalized study planner. Simply write into support@egmat.com, book an appointment with one of our GMAT success strategy experts, and create your own study plan live on a call with us. Now, step 3, once you have your plan ready with you, execute that plan. This means you need to follow the 3 stages of learning for every single subsection within each section one by one. So you start by learning concepts and skills and then mastering the application of those skills, and finally getting test ready by building things like your mental agility, testing stamina and temperament. As you build on these skills, you work from one subsection to the next and then from one section to the next in a sequential order. Now, we have several course offerings that will help you execute your plan to perfection, whether it is our robust course platform, our custom quiz engine called Scholaranium, or even our programs and initiatives such as our Coach Connect initiatives, through which we offer live sessions to our students so that they can clarify their doubts directly with our subject matter experts. Then, once you're done with executing your plan, you're ready to write your mocks to see whether you're test ready. For this, again, you have the Sigma X mocks on our eGMAT platform, as well as the remaining GMAT official practice tests. Last but not least, you're finally ready to write the GMAT exam. We at eGMAT take pride in the accomplishments of our diligent students. Just in April alone, we reported 11 successes, more than any other GMAT test prep company. The verified reviews of our students on GMAT Club stand testimony to our commitment to your success. So, Now that you've understood what the GMAT Focus Edition is all about and the changes that it brings in its wake, I'd like to leave you with one last piece of information. The GMAT Focus Edition name is soon going to be discontinued and it's going to be changed back to the GMAT exam. Now, there were two names when there were two exams available on the platform. However, now that the older GMAT has been sunsetted, GMAC has announced that from the 1st of July onwards, it's going to discontinue the name GMAT Focus Edition and revert back to just GMAT exam. With that, I hope you found this information useful. Happy learning.